here.
We're ready to do interviews and stuff, so just let us know.
Okay. Now we did have for the first time, and no, I think we're going. We had our first issue with.
Yep.
We're on. Okay. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Restream. Okay.
I'm Brian Ramirez with CFAR, and we're here tonight with Michael Graham. He's with the
Progressive Army.
Progressive Army. He's the editor over at Progressive Army, and we're also here with Kentiel White. She's a candidate, a CFAR candidate, and she's here to explain her position. And we're here also to talk about. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry. We're here to discuss Owned, which is a documentary about the very high cost of housing and in the U.S. And so this is a very poignant topic related to that everyday people have just trying to make ends meet, and at the same time pay ridiculously high cost of housing. So let's go ahead and start with you, Kentiel. What can you tell us about your district and the issues that people in your area face with the high?
Oh, me?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, well, in my district, in 13, and since we've been knocking on doors, talking to residents, they want to see more policing. They want more community. They want more community involvement, which is more communication between me and the neighbors. I mean, the residents. They want crime to be reduced because too many kids are being killed or being hurt or being taken. Well, just say human trafficking. They want to see schools being used as recreation centers because they closing down too many schools in the neighborhoods. They want rec centers for the senior to be able to leave their home and go somewhere where they can enjoy life or enjoy where they live at. I mean, that's what some of the residents are talking about right now. And it's just like the taxes are too high. Residents are losing their homes due to foreclosures and water shut-off that we have been going on in Michigan. And dealing with the situation up in Flint, Michigan, that's what are looking into. And high light bills and again, gas bills. And like I say, residents are scared that they open up their front door, they might get robbed, or here come DTE shutting their lights off because they are unemployed workers. Just a week ago, I was with a lady who received a $3,000 water bill for one whole month. And, I mean, that was ridiculous. So this is what they're facing right here in the 13th Progressive District. Again, they want more leadership. They want more voice. Open door policy.
Mm-hmm. Well, so I had hoped we might have the director of this film, Owned, join us, but he is traveling, promoting the film and working on another documentary. But I would like to actually share the trailer to this film, and then we can kind of go from there. And I know Michael has a study from Duke, I believe, that he'd like to also talk about. So we'll start with sharing this trailer. Give me 1 second. Believe I can, let's see. Okay. 1 minute. Okay. Here we go.
Whether we're talking about white Americans or black Americans, what everybody wants is an equal chance to have a piece of the action.
Fair housing for all human beings, is now a part of the American way of life.
Americans love buying homes.
I own that one, and this one right over here.
Homeownership to me, it means freedom.
People have to live where society is push them to there.
I just thought it was exceedingly irresponsible, but I took advantage of it.
Black lives matter, but black lives don't matter if black neighborhoods don't matter.
Where'd those poor people go? Their homes are gone.
You can create a social contract and make tons of promises. We now live in the day when those promises are coming due.
Okay. So, actually, one sec. I'm going to start with another thing that I just pulled up. And when we talk about housing in America, I think everyone feels the crunch with this, the price, huge price jumps that happened with the housing bubble. This is something here. Sorry for the scrolling. Was actually a friend of mine's house. They moved out to Seattle a few years ago, but you can see here, I don't know if you can tell, from what was 99, I should actually have a better example, but there are several where you see this jump from 2004 to 2006. Yeah, actually, sorry, this isn't the best example. Let me stop.
I'll see.
It's just not the best example. I had another one pulled up. But basically, for everyone, I think housing, with what happened with the whole housing bubble, the prices jumped so much in that period from 2004 to 2006 and it didn't really, like, some places really crashed, I believe, like Vegas and probably, Brian, some places in California. But I know, like, where I am in North Carolina, Raleigh-Durham, Chapel Hill area, the job market is pretty strong. So those prices just never came down. And so, we were not so fortunate to have purchased a house prior to the bubble. So, like, we paid a lot more, and it didn't ever drop back down. So if you had bought your house in 2004, I mean, we're talking about in some, like, $100,000 difference between 2004 and 2006. So when you talk about trying to get 20% down on these houses, I mean, it's really untouchable for so many people. But the film Owned goes, further into talking about the racial divide in this. So, everyone is hurting, but black families have had even less gain in home ownership, and therefore, I mean, that home ownership is most Americans, like, where they have their wealth, even if they don't have anything else. If you own a home, that's your main wealth. So anyway, I wish we had been able to have Giorgio on, but I will share what he told me about where you can actually see the film. It is currently playing in a couple of places, but they haven't, like at some fine arts theaters and stuff, but they're not, let's see, we're playing festivals right now, and they haven't landed a distributor yet. But the next festival is the San Francisco Doc Fest, June 9th. But I'm sure this film hopefully will be widely available soon, and I think it really tells the history of how, what happened was set up very unfairly on racial lines there. So, but I'll go ahead and let Michael, if you want to jump in here and talk a little bit about how that Duke study sort of relates to all of this.
Hi, I'm Mike Redwine from Actify Press. Also a contributor to Progressive Army. Can you guys hear me? I'm sorry.
It's a little low. Is there any way you can turn it up a bit?
Better? A little better?
Yeah, just talk loudly.
Okay, I'll talk loudly. Okay. As I said, I'm Michael Redwine from Actify Press. I'm also a contributor at Progressive Army. And recently, this study, I guess just last week, this study came out called "What We Get Wrong About Closing the Racial Wealth Gap." And It's a study based on the way they did it. It was about the language we use and the tropes that we've been taught over the years about how Black folks can catch up, and it's just basically a list of myths and along those housing lines. That's one of the biggest problems with is that people say if you increase home ownership among Black people, that will close the racial wealth gap. But ownership, number one, when America was building the middle class, after World War II, we were shut out. Black people were shut out of these of a lot of policies, shut out of a lot of places to buy homes, especially the places that were growing with the suburbanization movement. All those things going on, FHA loans, VA loans, we were more or less shut out, and we were basically left with houses that people didn't want, that moved out to the suburbs, right? And it wasn't just that people didn't be around Black people. The FHA set it up, or the federal government set it up, that you couldn't get in. And this is where the redlining came in. You couldn't get insurance, you couldn't get home improvement loans, all kinds of stuff that you couldn't get as soon as one family moved into your area, right? So you were kind of forced to kind of police your space, no matter how you feel about Black people. The fact that they were going to bring down the price of not Black people, not us as Black people, but the policies set it up so that the presence of a Black person in your neighborhood will bring down the value of your home based on you not being able to get insurance or further loans or refinancing and so forth. So people did what they thought was best for their improvement, right? So it turned people into. I'm sorry, my dog is basically turned these neighborhoods into, people were policing these people, basically defending their investment in their homes, right? So all these things came into place, and these were policies that came into place that put us behind, among many other policies, along with slavery and Jim Crow and peonage and so forth. And it's just a it's a myth that if you improve home ownership among Black people, it's going to close the wealth gap, because we missed that window when all the growth came.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that Detroit, Kentiel, you can speak to that. I'm actually from the Detroit area also, but yeah, I'm pretty familiar with how things are set up there. It's definitely a huge divide, and in the, I guess, 50s and 60s, was when really people, most of the white population started moving out further away. Of course, there were the riots in the late 60s. But, Kentiel, you could probably speak more specifically to what, housing issues you see like right now where you are.
Well, I wasn't born. Well, I wasn't born. I wasn't born until 1978. But can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but yeah, I wasn't born until 78. But right now, a lot of families are being forced out their home. Because right now we have over 8,000 families that are living in shelters. They could have been living in these houses that are boarded up. And the neighborhoods that I go through every day, I even posted on my Facebook and on my candidate page of streets that I've been driving down in Detroit, in Easter, or in Holland Park, and Pontiac. It's a lot of the economics that I love, like Ford, Chrysler, GM. They love out of those areas and caused those areas to start the cave, because they tried to go after the residents to make them pay more in taxes, but that's why a lot of residents walked away from their homes. Mm-hmm. Like my mother, she walked away. She couldn't keep affording these high mortgages, so she had to walk away from her house. And now the house is, became it became open to the public, where they went in there and started stripping the house out in and out. It made neighborhood value go down. Mm-hmm. And this is what we're dealing with right now in the city of Detroit. Again, like I say, Holland Park has been again decimated because of no fundings.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And now Ben Carson, who's the the so-called Secretary of Housing, he tried now to go up on the house. I mean, the Section 8. He trying to increase rent for Donald Trump. That's why I say, all of them need to come down, and all of them needs to be in prison. Because, racketeering.
When you look at what percentage, I think isn't it 30%, that they say you shouldn't spend more than 30% of your income on housing. And in so many places, I mean, that is just, people are spending 50% or more.
That's not going to get you really anything.
No. And so, Highland Park, that's actually both of my grandparents graduated from high school there, but that was 1938. And I was born in 71. So, but I heard a lot of stories though. I knew about the history of what had happened there. So, and I'm very, very aware. It was always kind of ironic to me, would hear, because I lived in the South and Michigan, kind of back and forth, and people are always saying the South is so racist, but to me, I mean, I didn't see it so different. You go up Detroit, it's very segregated. It's better now, but it used to be back in the 80s. So, but now I have family there still, and I know that they are kind of trying to really bring back Detroit. I know after, it might have been that Anthony Bourdain episode where he was like, oh my God, it looks like Chernobyl here. Because, the factories, it's really sad because I know from my grandparents about the heyday of Detroit, when it was booming and when things were good. Yeah. And it was just left to just kind of rot. But I always wondered if it was that episode where he really kind of exposed what was going on in Detroit. And it seems like now they are trying to bring it back, but then don't you have the issue of gentrification, and then you end up pushing people out again. So you have, at the bottom of the housing crash, I remember hearing you could get a house for $5 or something crazy like that in Detroit. They were auctioning off like
it was
or something.
It was during the Detroit land bank under Mike Duggan, and then not only that, residents are tired. I mean, I was just talking to a resident this morning. A veteran, his auntie pay almost like $4,000 taxes. Only dealing with the auto insurance right here in Michigan. I mean, basically they live paycheck by paycheck. Mm-hmm. Disabled can afford to continue to pay these.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, we're having a little trouble with your audio.
Yeah, you're cutting out.
Maybe when you went outside.
Okay, can you hear me better?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
We can hear you better.
Okay, what I was saying was that a lot of residents who are disabled are losing their homes due to their financial situations. Mm-hmm. I mean, again, me being out here on Campaign Trail, I've been to some of these senior places who lost their homes because they were financially strapped, where they became disabled and they wasn't able to keep their homes. I mean, right now people are losing their homes due to auto insurance rates are so high in Michigan. We're the only state that has high car insurance rate right now.
Oh, really?
Yes, in the city of Detroit by itself, you paying double. Well, like where I live in Southgate, Michigan, which is like about half an hour away from the city of Detroit. I had to move out this way because I was working at a job not too far from here. But my car insurance right now is like almost, say, about $250. Now, if I move back towards the city, my car insurance would be double that price, almost $500. Where my auntie lives at right now on 8 Mile of Russell, she paid $534 a month for car insurance. Mm-hmm. Now, you going towards like St. John Hospital, you paying $600 because they redlining people. But I mean, again, it's like you paying to live in a city that's supposed to be safe. It's not. Highland Park is no different. Pontiac is no different. Inkster is no different. I mean, you're trying to catch a break, but you're not catching one.
Mm-hmm.
And you have residents that are making a choice: food, car note, car insurance, rent. Then your job want to play test and toy if they want to keep you or not. So it's hard on everybody, and that's what's going on right now. And Detroit is coming back, but it's coming, but it's coming back slow. But again, they have to tackle these issues to let the residents know that they're hearing them, but they're not hearing them. And that's why they don't vote. That's why they don't vote no more.
Right. Okay. So are you hearing a lot of that when you're going out, door to door? Are you hearing voter just total apathy?
Yes. And they said, like, one resident told me, well, I don't want to vote. I don't want to sign your petition because my vote don't count. And I said, well, you just not signing my petition because your vote don't count, but your vote do count. Because remember, your ancestors who tried to walk that bridge in Selma, who you might not remember because you might not have been at that time, they tried to get their registered to be a voter, but they couldn't. So you're not just voting for me, you voting for yourself, and you vote for your family member. And that's why I remind them every time. That's why I walked out with 1,200. Even when I ran for governor last year for the state of Michigan, I was the only candidate that lived right here in Wayne County that had 6,000 signatures, because I had 6,000 people that believed in my campaign. First African American, young, 39, with 2 associate bachelor's and a master's. No experience in government, but guess what? I did it. I walked out with 6,000 signatures before I entered the 13th Congressional District race.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Very good. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
So,
shoe leather activism.
Huh?
Shoe leather activism, getting out there and talking to the people. That's beautiful.
Exactly. And that's what I've been doing, going door to door, talking to the residents. I'm not asking you to come to me. I'm coming to you. And that's what they want to see. They want to see you back in the community. They just don't want to keep voting for you because you got name recognition. It don't work anymore.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. People have given up, man, and I think the system is geared for people to give up.
Yeah,
it's the long game, right?
That's what they want us to do.
Play long game. Play the long game. Yeah, they want us to quit. That's why they, that's why they coax the DLC to buy the Democratic Party, right?
Exactly.
Right? They don't want us
to.
So we stop fighting, right? But unfortunately for them, people have got to the point where they've got nothing to lose.
Exactly.
So people are starting to come back and start fighting back. Hell, what am I going to lose? I ain't got no job to lose.
Right.
Right.
I'm not making enough money to be worried about this job. I can be hungry and not work. But you know what? It's backlash.
But see, understand where you're coming from. Michigan residents, when they said that word called right to work law, right to work here in Michigan, that hurted a lot of people. Even unions can't even bargain like they used to. But see, Wisconsin tried to do the same thing. And the Wisconsin Supreme Court said, no, you cannot practice that law here. Even in New Jersey, they tried to practice it. They said no. And that's what that's what hurt Flint, Michigan. A lot of residents in Flint, Michigan, to this day, 4 years later, still don't have clean water. Now Chicago is almost by the same way of Flint, Michigan. They got 70% lead in their water.
Well, I remember hearing Erin Brockovich. I might know her from the movie. When that story came out, she said this is just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, it's everywhere. Because all these homes have lead. Do what?
It's over 3,000 communities in the country that have lead in their water, or at least, they have some sort of poison in their water.
Right.
Exactly.
And with lead, actually, it may be slightly less. I don't really know, but as far as ingesting it, I'm sure getting it straight through the water maybe is worse. But the other issue is all these homes that have lead paint also. So the lead paint in there, that's exposure to that, and that's extremely damaging. Permanent damage to anyone under, I believe it's age 6 and under. If they live in a home with lead paint, they're at risk for all of that same things like you would get from.
And all of this is
this
is a choice we're making in the country.
That's true.
We could fix all this stuff.
Yep.
We can fix all this stuff. There's enough money in this country, and those of us who understand MMT, there will always be enough money in this country to fix these problems. But for whatever reason, well, we know the reason: the rich and powerful don't want labor to get back on their feet.
Exactly.
That's why they're fighting. That's why they're fighting Medicare for All so hard. That's why they're trying so hard. As Anthony was saying, they're trying to get right to work all over the country, and right to work is the national policy because they want labor on their back, because that's the only thing that can fix this is if labor gets together and starts fighting, right? And they've gotten to the point where black folks, white folks, brown folks are all feeling the pain, and we're starting to get together in solidarity, and that's a problem for them. And if they don't close the doors to voting, they're about to see a whole lot of hurt in 2020, 2024.
Exactly.
Start with the Democrats. They're gonna get obliterated if they don't get the fixing problem for the average person.
It's funny you brought up MNT because our group was kind of aligned with a group that talked about that. But anyway, I think that is there's Brian. It's kind of a confusing concept for most people. But I think, when you ask anyone, like, when they say, oh, we can't afford this or that, it's like, well, we pay all this for the military and nobody bats an eyelash, right? I mean, that's all you have to do to kind of explain to people, we can spend on that, then we can surely spend on schools,
And I've been saying for years that if there's no enforcement mechanism, there's no debt. Who's gonna make us pay anything?
Exactly.
There is not a on this planet that can make us pay shit. I mean, that's where we are as a country, right? I mean, nobody's gonna make us pay, and nobody's going to force us to pay this money or anything like that, because there's nobody with enough power to do so, right? So my thing has always been, let's whatever the debt is, so our debt or deficit is, we need to fix the problems in the country. That we need to fix the problems for people. Right, and we did on Actified Chat. Amanda and Janet, they had what's that woman's name? She's Strip Mall Fire on Strip Mall Fire on Twitter. Kathleen, I'm sorry, Kathleen, I forgot her name. But Actified Chat did what Kathleen does. She explains MMT in plain old English terms, so anyone can understand. And they did a couple of segments on that at Actified Chat. So those you who go to YouTube or SoundCloud and look that up with Actified Chat. That's HETIFY Chat. All right, and we were ActifiedPress.com.
Strip Mall Fire.
I'm sorry, Actified.press.
Okay.
Because
Kathleen Tremblay. That's what Kathleen Tremblay.
Okay, I see. Yeah, they need some people to speak about it in a positive way. I think that's really important. In a positive way,
in plain terms.
Yeah,
we spent
exactly.
too much time, especially on the left, where everybody's trying to show off how smart they are and show off their degree, and nobody can understand what the hell you're talking about, right? And
but you know what?
On the other side, go ahead.
Because because I see the thing is that I transport veterans, on a daily basis, because that's what I do, and also I work EMS. And also campaigning. And I've been transporting veterans for the last 5 years in the Detroit VA hospital in Ann Arbor. And sometimes I take them down to Cleveland, Ohio. The veterans are complaining because they are not getting the necessary healthcare services that they fought for. Just like today, I was talking to a veteran who served 21 years in the military, who retired with a pension. And I said, if they privatize the VA hospital, they're gonna make it where that the veterans have to pay a copay, just like you go into a regular hospital. And it's like, what do you get for your services? Just a flag put on your casket, and that's not fair. That's not right to the veterans.
Yeah, I'm a combat vet. I'm ex-Army.
That's ridiculous.
And you see it, man. And you see it with no matter how you feel about our choices in war, the people that get sent, it's a job. Right, and I had to go when it was my time, and they deserve better treatment. I mean, we've gone so low as a country. We have no moral grounding. There's no
respect.
We have a horrifying ability to just get used to the new normal. right? And it's just, it is what it is. And thank God we're seeing people fight back. Thank God for these millennials. Thank God for politicians like you who are trying to get out there and talk to people and give people their voice back.
Yeah,
I'm hopeful that you young folks will get this thing right, because I'm a Gen Xer and the Boomers, we screwed this thing up royally. And I just hope things get better.
Did you happen to see? I don't remember where it was now, but it was just yesterday, I believe. A new poll that came out about whether they would vote Democrat or not. It's polling millennials.
Oh, the millennials, yeah.
And it it was below 50% now.
That's unacceptable.
Yeah. Because I wrote an article. What's the name of the article? It was the Democratic Party embraces oblivion for Progressive Army, and it was just strictly numbers. Hold on, I'm sorry. The Democratic Party has just decided that they're not going to do anything for people. They just decided that, and it's plain to anybody who's paying attention. They're going to serve their donors and everybody else, right? And people are seeing that now. Young people are smart. This is the most educated, most savvy group of young people generation we've had in this country since forever, since whenever, right? And these people know what they see what's going on. They're not stupid. They're not stupid. They see it all, and we're just sitting here crumbling.
Well, yeah, I hope they know that some of us Gen Xers that we're on the same team. I mean,
very much.
Yeah, they know. I'm sure young people know. But these young people have a great bullshit detector.
Yeah. I say that all the time.
And that's why we gotta make our housing better. That's why we got it starts at home, but we also gotta make our housing better, our state better, and we gotta fight for our children, voices while they're in school. That's why my campaign is built around. It's built around equality for all, LGBT, veterans, women's rights, students' rights. Everybody's right counts. Even a 5-year-old, a homeless person, their voice counts. And that's what I'm facing. That's why I'm using the value system to rebuild, the 13th congressional district by leadership, by faith, and by trust.
Yeah, and that's why we built Active Five Press, right? Because there's too many. People don't have a voice, right? But Active Five, we also do publishing. We also have A-Press, the A-Press News is Active Five Press, which is the news site, which is an aggregate site, right? Because the left does not have a voice in government anymore, and we've got to
exactly
across the left spectrum. Yeah. There's too much infighting within the left, and there's too much hoity-toity language where everybody wants to, like I said before, everybody wants to show off their bona fides and how smart they are and all their degrees, but nobody wants to represent people in terms they understand, right? And that's why we started acting like the publishing side, right? Because people need to be able to communicate with everyone. The right does a great job of that. They're wrong, right? They're horrible about their policy. They're completely wrong, but they do a great job of communicating what they believe. Right now,
exactly.
Nobody knows what the Democratic Party stands for other than donors. Right? Nobody knows, and they have to own that. Honestly, I don't think most people care, which also makes them vulnerable to a resurgence, an insurgency, which is what they're facing now.
Well, it does seem like recently we're just having more and more. Ed Schultz came out and said, what MSNBC basically told him he couldn't cover Bernie, and we're the Levi candidate and that audio. It seems like we're having more and more people come out. Maybe they were afraid. Some people didn't want to say something early on because we're kind of always talking about this. But for those of us that were paying really close attention, it was very obvious that the Democratic primary was not run fairly, and the media collusion and all that stuff that happened. But a lot of the public still hasn't quite woken up to that yet. But more and more stuff is coming out now. And as these candidates are running now in 2018, and they're up against the DCCC, they're seeing it firsthand, like how the DNC wants to keep those people from winning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But see, the thing is that this is something that Trump wanted to come out, and this is what we dealing with. We dealing with him because when George Bush was in office, you didn't see all of this stuff. You didn't see all these action groups. You didn't see all these, Black Lives Matters groups coming out. Since this one got in the White House, I mean, everybody from their grandmama to a 5-year-old to a 15-year-old. I mean, now you got Asian Americans, you got all these immigrants that are finally stepping up and fighting against Trump because he promised them something, but guess what? He did not deliver. Now he's sending them back over to where they come from. I mean, just not too long ago, a veteran who served in the military just got deported back to his home country. I mean, like, come on, are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah, the browning of America got these people scared. That's part of the problem, right? The America becoming, for decades they told us that minorities have such a good deal. But they shit have become minorities. As hell have become minorities.
Yeah.
And see, Trump is the thing is, like I tell people, Trump like this. He like everything that he's seeing out there, and that's why the Republican Party do not want to impeach this man. They do not want to impeach him. That's why Paul Ryan at the end of the year, he's walking out with $1 million bonus check, $170,000 for the rest of his life. Come on. And now he want to raise the rights to the working to 70 years old. Who gonna work till they 70 years old? Nobody.
Well, I don't know. Everybody might be like no choice.
Yeah, Trump being impeached was a pipe dream anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Trump owns the base. There is not a Republican on the planet that wants to face their base.
Yep.
By having stood against Trump, right? Mm-hmm. Number one, their base can be violent, very violent, right? And they support that, right? With all the the NRA and all these other things going on.
Yeah.
And they get better treatment from law enforcement. All this stuff is sends off bells to the people that are willing to do these kind of things. Mm-hmm. And they have decided that they're not going to confront Trump no matter what he does.
Mm-hmm.
The donors are happy what Trump is doing, and that the donors are happy and they don't want to piss off their base. The Republicans are not going to make a move against Trump. They would be fools to make a move.
Exactly.
So
because
do you guys, sorry.
I'm sorry. I would say even with the situation with Dr. Larry Nassar, the psycho who raped these women all these years over Michigan State University. Trump did not come out and defend these women, saying, well, I feel you. I'm sorry about the pain that you went through. Trump have you even apologize to these women. I mean, because he don't care. It's okay. He thinks it's okay to grow women. It's not okay. You don't have the right to touch a woman without her permission.
So
or anybody without their permission. Yeah.
I just thought of it. What do you? I only heard a little bit, so I don't even know the whole story. But do you guys know what is the deal with Kanye West saying stuff? Was it like he made pro-Trump comments or what?
He's an idiot too. He's an idiot.
Criticizing Obama, or what was the story there?
He criticized Obama for the last 8 years because he had an issue. At first, Obama liked it. I mean, he liked it, Obama. But then when he's seeing what Trump is doing, oh yeah, I love Trump now. Trump is trying to make the world better. Make America great again. And Obama didn't do that. Obama just stayed in the White House for 8 years, didn't do nothing. Come on, I'm like, are you serious?
What's your take on that, Michael?
Yeah, Kanye is a musical genius. That's where it is, right? That's where it is, right?
Yeah, I think, we have had so much of like celebrities jumping in on this. We got talking about Cynthia Nixon over the weekend. And it just, whether it's Oprah or Miranda from Sex and the City, it's just, I don't know. I think people want to see real people like you, Kentiel, run. I mean, because the whole...
At least a bunch of people in the... At least you see that. That's a good thing. You know, even if Cuomo wins, he will never be the same again. Cynthia Nixon is beating the shit out of him in the court of public opinion. She's beating the piss out of him in the court of public opinion, and she has him running around in circles.
Exactly.
Which also proves to potential candidates out there, if you have it, that's the issue. She has a platform because of her fame, right? And she's using it to drive Cuomo to the left, which he's always claimed that he never was, right? She's using her platform to drive Cuomo to the left, and she has the courage to do so, right? Most people in Hollywood, and most people in Hollywood, number one, they're relatively well off, and these tax breaks, they like these tax breaks. And number two, if they lose their position, there's that social pressure that they may lose their position, or they may not get the next gig, so on and so forth. So, what Cynthia Nixon is doing is valuable. Whether she wins or not at this point is irrelevant. But she has enough cachet that when she said something, people listen, and that's driving crazy. And I'm loving every minute of it.
Well, unless you take the stance like, I'm sorry, I love Susan Sarandon. I mean, she's willing to be blamed for Syria and Trump and everything because she's one that.
On her, I love her. She's so tough.
Yeah. I mean, or who is Shailene Woodley or Mark Ruffalo. I mean, Viggo Mortensen. But it's. I mean, you can kind of count on one hand the ones that seem really willing to stick their neck out about things.
Right. But see, like Kanye West, if his mom, I'm not trying to say, he might have been different if his mom was alive, but she would not have tolerated what the comments that he said about Trump because, again, you disrespected a woman. I don't know, Marlena, I don't know if she's sleeping with in the same place with Trump. But I mean, this whole Stormy Daniels thing, they got Trump on pins and needles right now. Even with the investigative Mueller, they got him on pins and needles. So, Kanye West had to come out and try to defend Trump. That's why he brought in Rudy Giuliani. For what reason?
Oh no, it's just unfortunate that I guess, those are the headlines that get most people's attention. Unfortunately,
Right.
If we could make it sexy, talking about policy, that would be great. Or, sexy to talk about what we can actually do to fix Flint and everywhere else.
Right.
But if you can, if y'all get a chance, go on Netflix. It's they got an episode. It's like 11 episodes it's called Flint Town. And I sat there and watched all 11 episodes. I mean, I was so hurt when I seen about what's going on in Flint, Michigan. Because a long time ago, when they was going through that water crisis, I mean, I was spending the night up in Flint because I had to pick up a patient and bring him back down to Detroit. And I drank the water in Flint. I'd never seen that water brown and nothing like that, but I didn't know it was, full of lead because I used to stay in the hotels up there. And they didn't come out this until after 2015. But 4 years, it's been 4 years now, and they have really not done nothing to really fix the water in Flint, Michigan. And Ben Harbor was almost the same way. I mean, there's a school right now in Detroit called King High School. It has high level of lead in it, and nobody is talking about that issue. But see, Snyder hid all of this. He hid this because he knew that if it would have came out at the time that he was running for re-election, it would have really hurting him. But they covered it up to after he got re-elected.
Now that should be criminal. I mean, the damage.
Yeah, it is.
The damage done to especially the kids there is permanent. It's just terrible. I mean, they should have every compensation there is because they're going to need special education help. They need extra dietary help. There are ways that you can try to eliminate some of the lead. But I remember just seeing someone talking about how they they had an infant and they're making the formula with this water, and that's just. There's no excuse for it. It's hard to believe that it's in this country that we have that, and then it's left that way. How is that possible?
Because nobody did really. It's the money. It's the money situation.
Yeah, but okay, so we can come back to where we choose to spend. Okay, I know
Right.
a lot of people might choose to go into the military. I know that some people make that decision because they don't have many other options, and they go in because they can get a GI Bill or whatever. Why don't we have a jobs program that would be, I mean, how many people could we employ to help fix Flint? I mean, there are people that could learn a trade, you know, rather than go overseas and be shot at and shoot people.
Exactly.
You know, we could be doing that. But it just seems so obvious and logical. And it's just, I think most people agree with that now. We just have to get the right people into office. And that's a big hurdle, I think, right now.
But the thing is, it's called accountability, because I found out the state of Michigan, it was called the driver responsibility fee. And the state of Michigan been collecting $634 million in the last 15 years, which equal out to $9 trillion from residents who owe fees. Like if you get caught with no license, that's a fine of $200 plus. You know, reinstate your license, another $145. You get caught with no insurance, that's $1,000, $500 per year for 2 years, and plus the reinstatement fee of $145. Now, if you times all that money, that's $9 trillion. But the thing is, where's all that money at? Yeah. That's why if I become congressman for the 13th, when investigative Mueller is done with taking Trump down, I want to bring him into the state of Michigan and start looking at the Department of Treasury to see who needs to be held responsible. Accountability is the key to turning the state around and turning the country around. But we have to get these two people out of office, which is that one in the White House, that one at the House to speak, the Speaker of the House, and this governor, and put them all behind bars. That's where they need to be at.
Have you heard about the Anti-Corruption Act?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the answer, I think, right there. Because we can have great candidates go in, but until we fix the corrupt system, I think, you know, too many people, it's hard to, you know, not succumb to those special interests. I think that it happens. The system's broken. So I know you signed the CFAR contract. Did you also sign the, WAC, the candidates with a contract?
Yes.
Oh, you did. Okay, I thought maybe you did, because we're kind of work together with them. But yeah, their contract is more just anti-corruption, and they have more libertarians. They've got kind of across the board. But just curious. Yeah.
And that's what we need, and that's exactly what, like I said, my campaign is focused on a vision for change, which is commitment, hope, accountability, growth, and the word expectation. And I love by the word expectation, and that's what I want to bring to the 13th district. That's why, like I said again, that's why I ran for governor of the state of Michigan, not just to hold everybody accountable, but to be a voice for the people out here that are suffering, that needs help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you have any writers based in Detroit, Michael? People that are
no, we not that I know of. But if you can get me in touch with a writer, you know, or if you want to interview, and we'll write something for you, that's fine too.
Yeah, I just think it's great, you know, because our cable news, you want to call it, is just not doing this, you know.
No.
I know Jordan Sheridan honestly has done a great job with Flint. I know there was all that controversy with TYT, whatever, but he did a great job covering that story. But we need these reporters on the ground to report back what is actually going on there. I do remember you mentioned the recreation centers, and I think that was something that was in the Anthony Bourdain special about Detroit. He was kind of going all around the city, and he was talking to people about all the factories that had closed, and he ended up talking to these teenagers that were like, yeah, there's nothing to do. They just shut this down. You know, this used to be an arcade here or a place to play pool. You know, it just doesn't make sense. But yeah, if we have people on the ground to write about it.
But the main issue is that you pay taxes in the city that you live in. You should not have to pay to go to a rec center. Right. And that's what a lot of these seniors are talking about. You shouldn't have to pay to go play basketball. I mean, and talking to some of the seniors, they want entrepreneurship. They want to open up their own business, but the city and the state told them no, we can't help you. But then you go out there, you can help the rich people who live in West Bloomfield, who live in these $350,000 houses. You can help them, but you can't help your own.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, it's just time to end it. And I think, like you said, Michael, there's so many people working. We all, on the left, there tend to be all these different factions, but I just think it's great when we can kind of try to join forces and keep our eye on the ball, on the focus of getting these candidates elected so we can change things. And we have to keep being loud.
Change.
Yeah, we have to keep being vocal about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Michael, was there anything else you wanted to talk about specifically with the Duke study?
No, I'd like everybody to take a look at that study. If you get a chance, no, I'm sorry, not if you get a chance. Make time to check out the study, and you can Google it. It's called the What We Get Wrong about closing the racial wealth gap. Right? Just look up closing racial wealth. Mm-hmm. And it's the 10 myths that we've been told over the years that are gonna fix the wealth gap for Black people. Most of them were to most Black people. We knew they were bullshit. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I know, like curse here.
That's okay. We all are grown. We feel you. I feel you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard not to be emotional about those things, right? In any event, it's all these myths that we've told about how Black folks can fix our situation without government help. It was all crap, and it just lays it all bare using statistics and studies from the best economists in the country. Mm-hmm. So I go take a look at it again. It's called. Let me make sure I get this right. I want to get it right before I.
Yeah, I've got it.
What we get wrong about closing the racial wealth gap. William Darity, Dark Hamilton was a gentleman that was just on stage recently with the town hall with Bernie, him and with Michael Moore, Sanders, somebody else, and Dark Hamilton was also on stage. He was a Black guy on stage, and Mark Paul, Alan Nadja, Ann Price, Antonio Moore, and Katerina Chiapas. And if you want to know more, if you want to follow this discussion, Antonio Moore and Yvette Carnell on YouTube. Check them out. They're always talking about our situation when it comes to economics. Mm-hmm. So and often I talk about it in my writing. Well, at my old stuff at Progressive Army and my new stuff at Active Press.
Mm-hmm. Another guy who's pretty active in that, he works with the Poor People's Campaign here in North Carolina, is Charles Douglas. He actually was pulled up on the stage at the People's Convergence to talk about this. But yeah, he really, puts it. He hits the nail on the head with that, and just about the economics and. So yeah, like recently we had Bernie was here at Duke with Barber, Dr. William Barber, and that sold out in like a day. I was gonna go and see that, but
Dr. Barber is a dynamo. He's an absolute dynamo, and he is onto something with the Poor People's Campaign, and it's something that I address not as well as he does in my most recent piece. I forgot the name of the damn article. Resilient Solidarity, right? And I talked about how now is the time for solidarity because white folks before who thought that racism would benefit them or they were oblivious to it are now realizing that it didn't help them. Right now, the battle lines have been redrawn. Right. It's about becoming wealth, right? We ain't in that club.
Yeah, well, I mean, there were a couple of Guardian articles that I must have tweeted them out 100 times right after Trump won, where they had traveled the country. I mean, there are a lot of dirt poor white people too, and I think if we all kind of realize that we're in the same boat. Who was Teddy from Guion Journal was talking about this when he came on. That he used to just not really see that, and now when we really look and see, it's not, we shouldn't be fighting each other. It's, the oligarchy, basically, as Bernie put it, against.
Yeah, it's rich versus it's rich versus poor. I guess is what it's always been, right? Even during slavery times, slavery drove down the cost of labor. That didn't help white folks, right? It helped the land industry and all the and all the industry, right? It helped them, but it didn't help poor people, right? Poor white people, right?
Yeah.
If we work together and everybody can stay on side. Right? It's media, because media it's not on our side, right? When MSNBC, we thought MSNBC was on our side at one point, because we obviously they're not.
Right. No. So yeah, I mean, I think even among people that are in the maybe comfortably in the middle class.
Yeah, which we had our millionaires to stay there.
Sorry, Michael, you're really low.
Even I'm sorry. I'm comfortably middle class currently, but that could change in a blink of an eye.
Exactly. Yep. That's the thing. I mean, all it takes is a layoff, and that's it. You're done. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Or, those of us that can now, I mean, I was much poorer at one point, but some of us can absorb those crazy insurance premiums, for example. But that can't keep going. I mean, it's hurting everybody, and so at some point you have to realize that, like, I don't know, maybe it's going to take that hit, something like the 2008 financial crisis. I remember when that hit, and I would kind of hear people around me saying, "Oh, my 401k and all this stuff," and it's like, but you're not paycheck to paycheck. I mean, you're not going to go hungry, okay? Yeah. It's bad, but sometimes you don't hear about it until it's something like that hits the, I guess, upper middle class. But the very top is going to suck as much money out of everyone beneath them as they possibly can, till there isn't any more, I guess. Brian, did you want to say?
Yeah.
I was just going to say, all it would take is for the vast majority of us is a major illness or a catastrophic accident, and we're right there with the poorest. I mean, it doesn't take much.
Exactly. Yep. And I mean, with more, you work in IT, Brian. I mean, my husband works in IT. With more and more of those jobs being shipped overseas, I mean, my husband quite literally trained replacements in India for his previous job. I mean, so yeah, people that think they're comfortably middle class, that could be gone in a second. So yeah, until we change the system
very quickly.
Yep. Okay, well, it was really great to have you guys on. And did you want to say something else, Brian? We're having some audio and video, hang-ups tonight that don't usually happen. But anyway, it was good to talk to all of you. And Kentiel, I really hope that you're successful in your race. And
thank you.
Very much so.
If you ever want to do an online town hall, we're happy to set that up.
Okay.
What you do is you can share the link with people, just regular people. And they can come on and just ask you questions directly. So we would set it up like this, and we can have any more than 10 people. It gets hard to talk, but we could do that if you like. Lisa McCormick in New Jersey, we did one last week, so that's always cool.
Yeah, I would love to, because I mean, continue to get the word out there, because everybody, like I say again, it's about the voice, about being a champion and restructuring a district that can grow. And then one thing I asked the residents, but I was talking to them, what do you want to see different in the 13th Congressional District? And they were just telling me, again, more communication between me and the candidate. And like I said, my door will always be open for them, because I want to hear from the residents. I want to hear what they have to say, and just be in a partnership with everybody, because we can grow a district through partnership and with a purpose.
Yeah, and I mean, what a radical idea. Have people elected that actually represent the people that live there. I mean, it seems so basic that and crazy we don't have that now. But yeah, that's what we need. That's an actual democracy. So Okay, well, thank you so much for coming on, everybody, and talk to you soon.
Okay, take care, everybody.
All right.
Bye.
So long.
Have a good night.
All right. Good
Bye.
night.